Afternoon all. Oh, hello. Something's gone on with the screen. What on earth is that? Bear with me a second. Why is that all the way over there? Oh, my monitor went off earlier. So that is focused on that screen for some reason. Oh my God. Why is... One sec. That's not the right screen. Why is that on that monitor? There we go. There we go. That's better, isn't it? I had a monitor malfunction earlier. My main monitor went a bit mental. So I had to turn it off and on again. And because I run multiple monitors, when you turn one off and on, it then decides to put everything on one monitor. Obviously the wrong monitor. But look, I'm looking behind the scenes. Yeah. That was Telegram and the streaming software, which is on monitor 1 to my left. I've got other charts on monitor 2 to my right, and on monitor 3 to my right, and this is monitor 1. Should have checked that. Right, hello everybody. So I took a New Zealand dollar yen short this morning. It's really extended on our ADR. So I've just put a couple of positions on it, short. All the yens are really extended. Basically, it's every yen pair has hit ADR basically off this big move that we've had today from the yen. Very, very weak yen across the board. So I've taken the reversal alert short on the 5-minute chart here. And yeah, looking for that to hopefully drop. But all it's done since I got in on that initial move, so there's a big, basically the reason I got in was this reversal alert. Yeah, so obviously we had a big candle, big strong move down. So it's the strongest move down we had apart from that initial sort of attempt where they didn't get below that low. We've held up basically in this support, so that area there is basically held up at the moment. So this propulsion gap basically. So we've gone sideways. So stops above the high basically. See if this works or not. It'll either drop or it won't. I don't know. We'll see. But quite like the look of that one. It's the most extended pair at the moment. New Zealand dollar's had a really good run, so I'm hoping that one will weaken a little bit. Other than that, not a lot else has changed this morning. So everything else that I'm in is kind of the same. CAD Swiss, as you can see, it's got M15. All we've done is go up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's gone nowhere. Euro pound, I'm in. That's gone down and then come back up again. So it's just come back down to basically yesterday's low, pretty much, Friday's low. Pound New Zealand. Got out of that one this morning. I'm still in it with further positions. All it's done is push down in London and push back up again. So it's gone nowhere. New Zealand dollar CAD. That hasn't gone anywhere at all in London. And I've just entered New Zealand dollar yen. So yeah, nothing's gone anywhere. Can't make money if the market doesn't move. So I haven't made any money. Just waiting. So hopefully we're going to get a strong US dollar. I'm hoping this movement that we've seen on the yen today is repositioning ahead of the US dollar CPI tomorrow. So we'll see. This is a bit of a risky trade. This account that I'm trading at the moment is stage 2 evaluation, and it's taking too long. So I'm just getting frustrated with it at the moment. So I've gone in with 1% risk on this short. So I might lose 1% this afternoon on this, if this pushes up. But if it pushes up, loses 1%, loses 1%. Hopefully I'll get that back on the NASDAQ. I literally, this is the most frustrating evaluation I think I've ever done. And it's because I'm trying to position trade it. This is the problem. I'm trying to position trade something which is just not designed to be position traded. So it's doing my head in, to be honest. So I literally just want to scalp it. I know I can do it. I just want to scalp 2% short, get that 5% in the bank, close it, and get it done. But so I'm getting a little aggressive with my entries. So I thought I'll go 0.5% short on the New Zealand dollar yen, and then I'll add to it. So I got in short on the break, and I added when we broke this low here. So there's my second entry into this propulsion gap. I knew there was a risk in adding a second because obviously we're selling into propulsion. But yeah, see what happens. But it had a beautiful pattern earlier, and then as soon as basically I've got in short on this, it went boing on sideways. So don't know. We'll see what happens in New York. So NASDAQ, I'm going to be trading opening range break on that. We'll see if we can get some movement off of this one this afternoon. But yeah, just sitting on $160 so far this morning. Not really gone anywhere. Afternoon, Seymour. It looks like it's going to stop out. Wants to go further, doesn't it? Looks like we're going to get 175 or something on that. I'm really not sure where that's going to go. There's my stop, obviously, at the double top. I'm not going to extend my stop. It's a stupid place to put a stop. Really, really stupid place to put a stop. Because it's, if this double tops, I'm going to get taken out by the spread, which is exactly what you shouldn't do. But I'm not going to extend it because that's just going to put extra risk on the table. So yeah, if it comes up and double tops that, I'm going to get stopped out on it, and then it will collapse. But that is where I would expect to find resistance. So we'll see. Either it will or it won't. Very nice extended on the hourly. We're above 80. So we're going to get a move down at some point. It's just I think I've mistimed it. But hey, that's what happens when you try and time the market. As we know, you can't. That's why everybody loses money, because you can't do that. But we still try it. Dion, I know the feeling. You take an entry and the market basically laughs in your face. Yeah. It does. At the moment, this last week, February, basically, even the end of January, we've gone nowhere. Literally, there isn't one FX pair that's moved anywhere. It's just shocking. It's sideways. Position trading, I literally have been flopping between 1.5% and 3% all month. Literally nothing going anywhere. The only things that are moving are the stuff that I'm not in at the moment, which is fair enough. You can't always be in what's moving, but it's just so frustrating at the moment. Afternoon outro. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So NASDAQ, I'm looking to get in pre-market 15-minute opening range. We've got 2 minutes to the open. So that's the 15-minute pre-market. I'm getting in with a aggressive scalp on this again. So we'll see if we can get a nice big move. NASDAQ has had a pretty big morning already, though. So I'm not too sure about the NAS today. We've had a pretty decent London move already. It has pulled back. We've got a reverse alert in, and it's come off the highs. So potentially we could be looking at a drop on this, but we've got this propulsion move up there as a target ADR as well. So it's difficult. We'll see where it goes at the open, but I'm always wary of the US indices when they've had a strong move during London. As quite often we find we get a bit of a fake out at the open, but we'll see. See what happens this morning. So DAX this morning, we had a nice opening range break to start with, but then it collapsed. So pretty much, I would imagine most people broke even on it this morning. or small loss because of that move down. It pushed up again, but it's not really gone anywhere. So we've just pushed straight back up into there, basically. We will see. So NASDAQ, looking at the daily, we are still struggling around these highs. So there's the opening going in. See if we get any movement. It's a little bit weak, actually, isn't it? What am I doing on UK 100? NAS. A bit whippy, isn't it? Afternoon, Brian. Okay, short the NASDAQ. Need to get down to there to get break even on this. Damn. Breakout. Come on, Nas, make your mind up. So we just pull straight back down into that propulsion gap. Down. Okay. So going to go long. Or are we? Can't make his mind up this morning. This afternoon even. Okay, gone long. Oh, I'm hedged. Hedged again. It's trouble using these wide stops. Just get hedged. So I'm in both positions now. Can't win, can't lose. That's annoying. That's going to be a grand loss for no reason whatsoever. Oh, annoying. It's one of those days today, isn't it? I think I need to give up. Just having one of those months. Really am on record. Have to say the worst month I've had in such a long time for actually being able to make money. It's just not happening this month. I'm just dying constantly. So that's a 1500, no, 1650 loss. See if we can get a run to the downside. I suspect what it's going to do now is push down, break even, stop me, and then go for a run to about 4 or 5k. That would probably make my day today. Go away. I'm just going to widen stops on this. Go 400. I don't want to get stopped out at break even on this. I either want to take the loss. I couldn't bear to get stopped out at break even and then watch it go. So I'm just going to widen my break even stop from 20 to 40 in case it does run to the downside. So we got this propulsion gap to aim for at the lows. Although it's not really a very good propulsion gap, it's more of a push. So I would say we're more likely to come and target this area here to the downside. So it's got plenty of room to run down to there. And that is 37. So when if it gets down to the TP on that first position, I'll break even on the second. If got to get there yet. Another whippy open. New Zealand dollar yen's thinking about dropping. Oh no, sorry. Oh, it stopped me out. Oh, there you go. Right, stop me out. There you go. Cancel the pending on that. Okay, stopped out New Zealand dollar yen. So that is the double top we're at now. Triple top, really. So this, if it is going to push from here, difficult to tell where this is going next. Further down a minute. I want to see what it catches here. So yeah, sorry. So that was that's New Zealand dollar yen. Difficult to tell where we're going. If we break this high here, there's not really anywhere to go until we're back up to this resistance again. So I suspect what will happen is if we do break out and get over 175 ADR, it's just going to run out of steam at some point. There's nowhere really for it to turn up here until we get sort of up to the 200, 225 ADR level, which I doubt it's going to reach today, but you never know. So we'll see. Afternoon, David. Dow pushing up, Nas pushing down. I haven't looked at the Dow actually. Should look at the Dow, shouldn't I, really? Yeah, divergence again. Dow's pushing pretty hard as well, isn't it? So you're if you're taking the pre-15 break on the Dow, that was your breakout. Lovely breakout on the Dow. Dow's the best thing to trade at the moment. I don't know why I'm trading the Nasdaq. It's just choppy as you like, isn't it? Afternoon, Luke. Franco, wrestling euro US dollar getting weird. Yeah, it's been a draining month. I just tell you what, I just want to take this month off at the moment. January was one of the hardest months I've had trading, I think, in the last decade. February has turned into an absolute nightmare. It's just like I haven't lost any money. I think the reason I'm having a nightmare is I'm just frustrated trying to get this account over the line. It did it to me last time. Trying to position trade a prop firm account is just the most frustrating thing, because for me, I have to take losses, lots and lots and lots of losses all the time, because if you don't, you burn the account. So what you end up doing is going up 3, 4, 5k, and then you drop back 2, 3k, then you go up 2k, then you drop back 2k, and it's impossible. If I'm, position trading my normal accounts, going to 15% drawdown, bank 15%, it's done. It's easy, but it just frustrates the hell out of me trying to get these things over the line with position trading. I really want to do it though, because I want to show people it can be done, and it can be done. But I haven't got the mentality to do it, unfortunately. I'm not the right type of trader to sit here patiently taking losses. That's the reason I position trade, because I'm not good at taking losses. And that's what you've got to do, unfortunately, to get these props over the line. Fine scalping, lose. If I can take losses scalping, I haven't got a problem with that. My mind is conditioned to do that, but it's not conditioned to take losses as a position trader. Taking a 2.5%. This was up to like 4.5% last week on Friday. To take 2% off of that when I'm only 4.5% in drawdown is just mentally crushing for me, because I'm not uncomfortable being in 4.5% of drawdown. That's totally normal. Yeah, my brain doesn't like it. Reduce to flips a coin strategy. Yeah, I think that's probably your best bet at the moment. So we're pushing back up from this propulsion here. Well, from this bottom, basically. It's not really a propulsion gap. It's more of a low. Nasdaq, the Dow is struggling to make highs. So we will see. We're just about to close this propulsion gap on the NASDAQ. It's going to stop me out, and then it's going to collapse down about 3,000 pips because it hates me. Ignore me, it's just the drugs talking. Right, stopped out. Reset for another short. And going long. Nope, not yet. Thinking about it. Is anybody trading the Dow? Well done if you are. You've just made an absolute fortune. I really must flick to the Dow, mustn't I? Because with how many times have we sat in here and watched this thing whipsaw and watched this thing go mental? It's almost a daily occurrence now, isn't it? This to go completely opposite way to the NASDAQ. It never used to be that. New Zealand dollar yen's approaching 175. So Swiss yen as well on its way. It's up to 150. Lots of good ADRs. All your RSIs are all yen based as well. Long NASDAQ. Just going to watch the Dow. So where's the Dow off to? Right, so the Dow, we're running into resistance. Oh, God. So Dow is running into an area of resistance, basically. So if the NAS is going to push, it's going to need the Dow to rally. So hopefully that Dow's got a little bit more legs in it. But thinking about switching to Dow seems way less choppy. Yeah, me too. The trouble is, all my backtesting on the Dow shows that the Dow is not profitable. And this is the problem. I've backtested all the set files for the NASDAQ with virtually every setting I can find in the Dow, and I can't produce a profitable set file out of the Dow Jones. NASDAQ and DAX, no problem. Dow, I can't get a profitable set file for some reason. I don't know why. I've got one, which is working off of a 15-minute opening range. For the pre-market, I can't get a profitable Dow. Did I close the New Zealand dollar yen? Yeah, I stopped out. Dow stalling a little. It's finding support, however, at the London, the Globex highs. So might be up for a bit more of a rally, but we are running straight into resistance on this. So a lot of heavy selling up here. DAX is your favorite. Yeah, my favorite too. DAX is really solid. Definitely my favorite, the DAX, for the opening range breakout. It's a lot less whippy than the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ does make a lot more money when it goes. You know, when the NASDAQ wants to go, as it is here now, it can easily put in 2 or 3 candles like this. Bang, bang, bang. You know, 3-5% done very, very quickly when it wants to. But we need the Dow on side as well. This is the trouble at the moment. The difference at the minute, I think, with back testing and with what we're seeing here is there is a lot of divergence at the open on the Dow and the NASDAQ, which it does happen, but I'm seeing it now a lot more regularly than I used to. So there's obviously the market is slightly out of sync, but I've only really been monitoring it closely for the last year when we've been in a bear market. We're flipping back into a bull market potentially now, aren't we? So, and this is why you have to adapt. If we flip back into a bull market, you're going to find the daily ranges are going to shrink dramatically. So all set files would need to be readjusted for a bull market anyway. So 15-minute opening range is in. So there's your 15. Dow's finding a bit of resistance at the minute. A lot of resistance. How's those yens doing? Okay. All the yen pairs are finding a little bit of resistance now up here. 150 ADR, 100 ADR. Starting to slow. Long one more in the Nasdaq. We're out the highs. New high of the day. Don't like this Dow at all. So this move from Friday, that was the second accumulation before we broke down. This is where the bulk of the sellers are sitting at the minute. If we're going to overpower these buyers here, if the buyers are going to overpower these sellers, they've got to crack through that level. Not doing too bad at the moment, but struggling here. Nasdaq's rejected the highs. Stop. Kind of want to short the Dow here. We had some news this morning. Well, not news, but the Fed Bowman came out basically and was talking up interest rates. We will maintain raising interest rates in order to bring inflation down below 2%. Rates 4.58 February 10th versus 4.57 February the 9th. So obviously we're sitting on 4.5 at the moment. So it's kind of edging towards, I reckon, a 4.75 on the next rate announcement. So I think we will get another increase on the US. The market seems to, at the moment, be pricing it in, but we will see. So still like the US dollar long. Just trying to find a US pair to get into. I haven't found anything that I can really get into. We'll have a look at all the US pairs in a minute ahead of CPI tomorrow. But obviously tomorrow we got CPI. I kind of want to get some US dollar exposure on ahead of that, if possible. But I can't find anything really from a US dollar perspective that I'm interested in at the moment. this is where I think we're going. US dollar CAD's just going sideways at the moment today. US dollar Swiss, same sort of thing. Obviously, the yens are moving on their own. Pound US dollar as a short. I kind of want this a little bit higher. Euro US dollar. Again, I want it up here. Ideally, if we can get a push on this, I will short this today. Euro US dollar potentially, or the pound US dollar, if it can get a bit more of a push. But nothing's really moving. So we've had a bit of movement during London, but I want to get up to highs. I want to be at a high, so that if we can get in and they push it tomorrow, I can get in and get out fairly easily. But nothing's really positioned at the moment anywhere near where I want to be. So I'm just watching the pound US and euro US, see if we can get any pushes up to yesterday's high ADR, anything like that, to get on short. So I want to be long the US ideally, but gold as well. Just want this up here. I was hoping we were going to get this all the way back up here ahead of the CPI, but it's not. It just shows you how strong that US is at the moment. It's just holding as if it just wants to dump, or everything dump against the US. So okay, Dow, right, we're up in potential resistance land on the Dow. So we've tapped straight into that level on the Dow and rejected. So this is where I think we're probably going to see a bit of a struggle start with the Dow. Quite like this short here. Tempted to bank this NASDAQ, but I haven't really got enough profit on it yet. Rejecting the highs. Got 3 minutes left on this candle. Too late. So we're still inside bar at the moment. Well, not inside bar. We've double topped basically, but we still haven't made a new low. So it's holding up, but big bearish rejection at the highs. Dow struggling as well. It feels like it wants to just give up the ghost. It's trying so hard to get new highs in, and it's just about managing it. But it just feels really heavy, like it wants to drop. I'm going to take another small loss. Potentially, this drops. There we go. Okay, stopped out. Okay, so we've got an outside bar now on the NASDAQ. No idea where it's going. Chop. Going to give it a couple of candles and see what it does. So we've got new highs on the Dow. So the Dow is definitely still bullish. indecision on the DAX, NASDAQ at the moment. Still got no more commitment to traders report. I was expecting this to come through today at some point, but I don't know what this delay is due to this hack. Some kind of cyber-related incident is what they've called it, but we still haven't got the COT report. This better come out before CPI. CPI tomorrow. Kind of would like to know what their positioning is ahead of CPI. Because basically that positioning that we're getting is going to be from here. Last week, so it'd be nice to have that ahead of the news. Okay, going long again on the NASDAQ. Still don't like this long. Just reducing risk on this. Actually, no, that's the wrong stop. Sorry. Is that right stop? No. I don't know which stop loss it is. Okay, so we've broken out the highs now. Just got whipped out on this today. So unfortunate. Literally took me out 1.5K there. Just so frustrating. Not getting us on the Dow at all. I'm switching over to the Dow tomorrow. I think I'm going to dump the NASDAQ. Last sort of 3 or 4 days, the NAS has not made me the money. The DAX has made me money. NASDAQ, I haven't made money on. And the Dow, I've been watching the Dow every day just go straight out the gates. What hack? Do you mean about the basically there's some kind of issue with the CFTC. They had some kind of cyber-related incident at ION. So I'm not quite sure exactly what it was. They haven't said what it was, but this was 2 weeks ago. Because we had the delay. The report last week was delayed over 24 hours. And we haven't even got Friday's report. So I don't know what this hack is or what this issue is they're having, but it's we basically haven't got the COT figures, which is annoying. Oh, I can't believe this. Why didn't you just do this at the open? Why did you have to whip me out? So basically, I got taken out. I got a 40-point stop. That candle was 40.9. So I got taken out by 0.9 of a pip. So I took a $2,000 loss, and I should be on about a 4K win now because of a 0.9 variation. How annoying is that? Difference between passing and failing an evaluation right there. God. Frustrates me scalping. Musin, is that right? Musin? Beginner from the Republic of Tanzania. Someone to help. I'm a beginner. I want to learn. Go to babypips.com if you want to learn to trade. Start there. See you in about 4 years. Babypips.com is the best beginner course. So I'm break even on this pitiful 5 lot long, which is making me a massive $170 after losing me 3K. Right. And I've missed the opportunity to scalp it now as well. I'm just going to have to take a 3K loss today. Never mind. CAD Swiss is back in profit. Nice drop on CAD Swiss. So looking for that to push back down into support. We've broken this low now. So the London low, basically. Asia, there's your Asian low. So London, we basically bounced off the Asian low twice. New York's just taking it through. So hopefully we should just push back up and now come back down and retest. That's where my TP is on that one. Euro pound, still not gone anywhere. New Zealand still not gone anywhere. New Zealand dollar CAD. Oops. Starting to push almost up to ADR on that, so I'm not expecting that to get too much further today. Conspiracy. Maybe more mainframe damage than reported. Who knows? I reckon somebody's somebody's dropped a clanger somewhere. Definitely. We're very, very rare. We never get a delay on the COT report. The CFTC require all futures positions to be in at end of day. So for this has been going on for 2 weeks now. For them to be sitting there with no accurate reporting on what is going on in the futures market for 2 weeks, something's not right. That's never happened. I've never seen this. You get a delay over bank holiday, but that's because there's no trading. But very weird. Trading, the hardest, easy way to make a living. Yeah. I keep saying it. This isn't a job I would have chosen. It's much easier being a pilot or a brain surgeon. A lot less stressful. You know, if I'd have had instead of having a 40-point trailer on that, if I'd have had a 45-point trailer on that, I'd be sitting at $3 profit. No, this is why I don't use stops in my trading, because it's just the way that you get killed. Every single stop is put there for a reason, to stop you out. That's why they call it a stop. They should call it a guaranteed loss rather than a stop loss, shouldn't they? That's the real reason, the real name for it. Okay, Dow's pushing up into the next resistance. Nasdaq's finding a bit of resistance at the highs as well. Wait until I've polished my strategy. You still haven't sent it to me, Seymour. Since the majority of times when we place ORB EA, we are managing the trade, perhaps we widen the trailing stop and let it play out. Oh, yeah, you can do, yeah. I widened it already this morning. I had a 20 on. I widened it to 40. I needed 41. The trouble is, David, if it doesn't matter what you do, you will always there will always be a better way. You know, there's days you see me sitting in here and I just bank $3,000. I'm done in 10 minutes. There's days like today where I lose $3,000 on a pip, and you can always say, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. I've got 60 odd thousand back tests on this strategy that show me it doesn't matter what you do, you will win and you will lose, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to take the losses. It's just very frustrating when they take you out by a pip. But and you get whipsawed. You know, it's just one of those things, unfortunately. Franco, selling hot dogs on the embankment. That's a good job. That's very stress-free, unless you get attacked by seagulls. Then it's very stressful. We've got a fish and chip shop fairly close to us. I live by the sea. And it's amusing seeing all the tourists coming down, and they sit there with their like tray of chips and sausages and stuff, and they put it next to them on the bench. And you think, you idiot. And you just know they're going to get dive bombed because they don't know about seagulls. If you come from inland, you don't live by the sea, you don't know how vicious seagulls can be. They will come down and they will take an ice cream cone out of your hand and they will wrestle you for it. They're a vicious thing. It's very amusing to watch people come down to the seaside for the day only to have their food stolen. There was one woman walking along the other day. She had a sausage roll in her backpack, and it was poking out the edge of her backpack. Seagull came down and landed on her backpack, nicked the sausage roll, and then flew off with it. And she was like, what the hell was that? And every time she turned around, obviously, her backpack turned around with her. She couldn't know what was going on. It's hilarious. Watching people getting attacked for food. Right. I'm going to switch to the Dow. Getting stopped out of that NASDAQ. Break even. Probably. So I'm just going to watch the Dow. David, right, no matter what happens, there could be a what-if statement made. Market is going to do whatever it wants to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's always a what-if. Today's what-if was, what if I hadn't have had the trailer there? What if the trailer had been 5 pips more? Well, the answer is about $2,000 to $3,000. But then the days where my 10 pip break-evens trigger and I get stopped out at break even 5 times and it saves me 5K, I'm not moaning then, am I? When we get the breaks that go like that, pull back, move like that, go break even, and then they go 5K, not complaining then. You know, it is what it is. You just have to take them. It's just very, very frustrating. And I'm finding it with this, the NASDAQ at the moment is just like that. At the moment, it's a lot whippier, than the Dow, obviously. So, and the Dow as well. If you look at the ADR on the Dow is ADR 471 now. NASDAQ's 318. So the Dow has actually overtaken the NASDAQ. NASDAQ used to be the volatility monster. You know, it used to have the biggest range on it. The Dow has actually surpassed that now. So. Kind of want to be switching over, I think, and trading that. But the NASDAQ's always been a fast mover, which is why everyone likes trading it. But it's not normally this whippy. That's over a 40-point move in 5 minutes. Whereas, looking at the Dow, biggest candle we had on the Dow was 56, but it's not whippy. That's the difference. Is the whip that we're finding on this is just what's killing at the minute. But Luke, I'm getting the direction right on the Nasdaq and still losing money. Yeah, this is the thing that's killing at the minute. It's just very frustrating. In fact, I'm going to turn it off. I'm not letting that trade anymore today. I won't get another entry on it anyway. If it closes, it needs to close back down below that level for me to get another entry. It's not worth me taking that. I've got too little risk on it. I've taken 3% risk. No, sorry, 2% risk here. I'm taking 0.5% risk there. There's no point in me taking that trade. I need to scout my way back into profit on this, basically. So. FX pairs, there is a lot of sentiment at the moment above 70. If you look at the sentiment, the biases, there's a lot of very strong buys and sells at the minute, mainly on these yen pairs. Look at these sentiments. Everybody and their wife at the moment is short everything against the yen. Yeah, they're short Swiss yen, short New Zealand yen, short Euro yen, short Aussie yen. What are all the yens doing today? Absolute rockets. So this lot are all getting stopped out at the moment, which is why another reason I was trying to get in short on that New Zealand dollar yen, expecting them all to be done now. The liquidity's gone. Yeah, they've been shorting the crap out of this all day long, getting absolutely destroyed. I was expecting them to run out of steam. They haven't. So we're still pushing. This was updated. What update's this? 12:57. We should have the 2:57 update in now. Sorry, the 1:57 update. Let's refresh that. Come on. There we go. So the strongest buys today were New Zealand yen, US yen, and Euro yen, all of them on 50 ADR plus. They're all still long. 80% of the market is still short on these, so they're still longs. Couldn't get in on them. But yeah. Going to run out of steam eventually on these. New Zealand dollar yen now. We are up to 83 on the hourly. So, this level we're at now, we rarely get there. Yeah, we're going to get a profit take soon on this move. It's just a case of when. So, still worth monitoring this for shorts. You only got like a sort of 20 pip move to get a reversal alert on it. And then we got a good chance of a pretty big drop starting on these yens, but it's trying to time it. It's going to be quite difficult to time it today. 175 ADR on New Zealand yen now. Okay, so Dow is putting in an inside bar. Now we've got 1 minute left on this candle. I'm just getting ready to potentially take a short on the Dow. I recommend checking out Seagulls Stop It Now by BLR on YouTube for a good laugh. Yeah, I've probably seen it. Probably half of it was filmed around about where I live. Just getting some juice from Aussie US battle stalled. All of these US sells as well. Just kind of want to get into anything US at the moment. Still struggling to find something to get into. Still pushing on the Dow at the minute. Nasdaq's coming back to life a little bit. 30 seconds left on this candle. It wouldn't have given me an entry, but we are at potential support here. Would it be smart to lower my risk on the ORBEA and trade both the NAS and the US 30? Yeah, I mean, that's another option you've got, because if you're trading both of them, obviously, I mean, at the moment, if you look at the two of them, they're chalk and cheese. So you really can trade them both with no problem. I'm just putting a sell stop. Just going to widen it a little bit under that low. Yeah, I mean, you can trade both of them because there's very, very different pairs at the minute. Very different. And obviously that spreads your risk because you're not normally, I would say no, because you usually get them moving very similarly, but at the moment they're just not. So I think it's a good idea to spread the risk over both. That's what I've got. I'm setting this up on my VPS to do the same. But I'm just trying to find a decent set file for the Dow. That's the trouble. I'm not quite sure. I want to trade the pre-15 breakout because you know that's absolutely. I mean, 187 point move you've had off of that this afternoon. If you're in that pre-market 15, the ORBEA has done 190 pips basically this afternoon. Huge. And look at what's happened on the Nasdaq. Absolutely slaughtered. We did get the move, but look what we had to sit through. We got the move there, and it only did 60, and it whipsawed in the middle of it. So you know you couldn't even get the 60 out of it. The Dow, you could not have not made money out of that thing. Literally, it broke, it pushed, it pushed. It did not break the low at all. We haven't broken the low once. Straight up. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to set that up. I'm just I need to play with some set files basically. New Zealand dollar yen is just starting to roll over. Okay, we've got 1 minute, just under 2 minutes left on this candle. So we've now got an inside bar formed on the Dow, and we're now forming an inside bar inside the inside bar on the Dow. So basically, if you look at the 1 minute time frame, you're trading a symmetrical triangle break. So this is going to break one way or the other here. So if you drop down and look at this on a 1 minute chart, we're basically contracting. Yeah, it's going to stop contracting it soon, and it's going to break. One minute left on this candle. I just want to watch the Nasdaq. basically holding, Nasdaq's holding off of this high here. $15 seconds. So we're an inside bar. So basically cancelling that off and placing a pending buy and sell at the moment, bracketing that candle. We're going to break one way or the other. The NAS is looking bullish. So I want to basically bracket for a long as well, because this could just be a small flag. A bit similar to that. So no idea which way it's going. So I will get on board that candle break when it breaks, whichever way it goes. Jeez, look at this. Inside bar on an inside bar on an inside bar. There's going to be mother of all explosions in a minute. I want to be on board whichever way it's going to go. Hopefully it doesn't whipsaw. Nasdaq's pushing long. S&P is testing highs. DAX is not going anywhere. Let's tighten it. If anybody's got any FX pairs they want to have a look at, let me know. I'm going to have a whiz through all the FX pairs in a minute and just see if there's any decent levels coming up. But at the moment, I had a quick look through earlier on the 4-hour chart. I couldn't see anything, but I'm going to have another quick look through this afternoon to see if there's anything getting to levels that are of interest. But the only thing moving at the moment, it seems, is the yen. So there doesn't seem to be an awful lot else to really look at the moment, apart from yen pairs, so which I'm not really interested in at the moment. Hence me not having a lot of exposure on, because I can't see a lot. Not a lot moving. It's just sideways at the minute. Everything's just stuck. It's almost like it's summer months at the minute. It feels like summer trading. Light liquidity, big strong move, go sideways for 4 days on the trot. Big strong move, go sideways for 4 days on the trot. Seems to be what we're doing at the minute. And then undo all the moves you've just done back to where we were. So you kind of big wide ranges everywhere. We've got just under 1.5 minutes left. I'm not going to bracket this candle because it's a bit too tight. Don't really want to get whipsawed, but in theory, you're an inside bar and an inside bar and an inside bar. We can't get an inside bar on that. Basically, that's flatline, the market not moving. So we're going to move in a minute. Nasdaq's got some sellers starting to come on board. Blimey. Look at that. Doji. Yeah, we could do a doji. That's true. But to do a doji, we've got to put in at least something like that. Okay, so we've got a new high. So we're not an inside bar anymore. Okay, so we've broken that high. Broken that high, I'm long. So looking for a break of this high. Hopefully we'll get a pop. Cancelling the pending short. It's going to take all these pending orders off the Nasdaq. So this is first potential resistance on the Dow. Nasdaq's still stuck. Aussie dollar, US dollar, Franco. Adding one more into the Dow. Stop under that low. Aussie US. So yeah, Aussie US is coming back up into this propulsion area. If you look at it on the hourly, it's not really a propulsion move on the hourly, but this is the unemployment figures for the US, which we retested and dropped. So where we are now is potentially a good looking short Aussie US. Assuming we're going to get some decent figures out of CPI tomorrow, we should be able to get a good move down on this. So we're taking out the highs now. Not quite. So there's yesterday's high, Friday's high. So once we've taken out Friday's high, I'd then start looking for a reversal alert short on that Aussie US. I don't think I've got any Aussie exposure on. No. So I might have a look at that for a short. Just because I want to get some US dollar exposure on, basically, ahead of tomorrow if I can. But all the other US pairs, as I say, I can't really find anything that's interesting me at the moment. US dollar CAD, not too bad. Nice propulsion gap to come back up and test again here. Bear in mind, if the CPI figures come out good tomorrow, we'll be looking at at least an ADR move on the US dollar, at least. So potentially more. So if we do get positive figures, we'll be coming back up and retesting this area here. What's the sentiment on the US dollar at the moment? So retail is mixed at the moment. US dollar Swiss, they're long. US dollar CAD long. Euro US dollar long as well. So it's really mixed sentiment. There's no bias either way, really. The market isn't positioned hugely in one direction or the other. So yeah, nothing particularly exciting, I would say there. So just testing that resistance on the Dow at the minute. So it's this low here, basically. So top of this propulsion move. So this is where we started this sell-off here. So I'm expecting to see some sellers start coming here. Just going to close this out. It's $800. So I'm just going to put that in the bank. Gets back a little bit of that loss from earlier. I am expecting a little bit of a pullback from here. It might push through it. So obviously, if this is a pretty strong move we're seeing at the minute, but we are very extended, and it's going to want to have a little bit of a pullback and a breather. So looking at all the US pairs, as I say, US dollar Swiss, just sort of sitting in the middle of nowhere at the minute. Nothing particularly exciting there. Difficult market structure on this. Lower high. Yeah, so a symmetrical triangle. Again, we're contracting here ahead of potentially a breakout on the news. US dollar CAD. This doesn't look too bad potentially for a long at the moment. Back up into this area. Yens I'm leaving alone. Pound US dollar. Want it higher. We're getting close to yesterday's high, so this is becoming a contender. If we can get up to here today, I mean, if we got up to there today, I would be in, definitely be in. But potentially at ADR, I might look at getting some pound US dollar on. Euro US dollar, we're coming up into propulsion gap on that one. I do like the euro long though. The euro is pretty bullish at the moment, so I'm not that interested in taking a short on the euro. However, obviously the US dollar will overpower the euro if it's going to power up. But there's better pairs out there to trade short against the US dollar, i.e. the pound. So I prefer to take that as a short. However, that's in a nice propulsion gap. So if this market structure is going to hold, that we've just put that new low in, potentially this could be the pullback. ADR would be much nicer, but not the greatest. Aussie dollar. Did I look at New Zealand US? I didn't, did I? So New Zealand US is kind of sitting up in no man's land at the moment. Just worries me this. I just think we're going to test that. However, if the CPI figures come out strong, we're not, are we? So difficult. Aussie US has already tested it though, so this is a much better sell as far as I'm concerned, and we're up there. So this is probably the best, I think, at the moment, opportunity to get in short. So I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch pound US dollar, potentially if we're getting into short positions today. So pound US dollar is the ultimate sell at the moment. We got COT on board. Same with the Aussie US. We got COT on board. Fundamentals are all short. COT are short at the moment. As I say, I don't know what the COT report is because they haven't released the bloody thing. I keep coming back here and refreshing this. This is about the 10th time I've refreshed this today, expecting the new report to be in, but it's not. So at the moment, they're all a good sell. Whether they are or not, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I like those two for shorts at the minute. 5-minute high sweep on Euro US dollar. I mean, you got that high there, obviously, at the moment. This is the Asian low from Friday, which was respected during London before it broke, which is obviously why we've got this propulsion gap here. So potentially nice short out of there. However, the move started here. So potentially there as well. That is where I would like to get in short if I was going to get in short on this one. But it's still pushed at the moment. So, you know, until you get a market structure reversal on it, I'll be a bit careful of that one. Brian, 1.07115. 07115. There. I mean, that's that high there, which is sort of around that level. All of this, you know, this whole area is a good potential zone, but it's broken it. So that is where I'd be looking. Failing that, got that level there. I'll be watching that level as well. But if it's going to get to there, potentially it'll probably come up into here. But it's got to get through this first. So, you know, who knows? But as I say, I don't really like it short. I'd much rather be on the pound because the pound is weaker than the euro. We're flagging very nicely on the pound in this propulsion gap at the moment. Look, just had a reversal alert on it as well. Oh, no, we haven't. Sorry. Not quite. Dow stalled out. ADR would be nice, yeah. If you got ADR on the euro US dollars, where I would definitely want to get in on this. It's nice level. Yesterday's high, basically. Friday's high, rather, at ADR. And then you've only got just over a quarter of an ADR. If you go in there as a short, you've only got a quarter of an ADR move against you before you're hitting resistance. So if you get in there, you're extended on the RSI on the hourly. If it gets up to there, you're super extended on the RSI on the hourly. You're going to get at least a profit take pullback. But I don't think it's going to get there today. I don't think anybody'd be stupid enough to get that much size on ahead of CPI tomorrow. But you never know. Right, Dow's stalling out. NASDAQ is attempting a new high. There's not a lot of movement in this today. It's very sluggish. Oh, why was I not on the Dow for the pre-15 breakout? That was the move today. If only I had a little old time machine. NASDAQ's rejecting the highs. I'd like to short that. Right, so sell stop under the low of that candle. Dow's starting to come down off of that resistance as well. So basically we've got potential reversal forming here. Euro yen 150 ADR, still pushing those yens. New Zealand yen, we're approaching 200 ADR now on the New Zealand dollar yen. This is an absolute monster move by the yen, or not, as whichever way you want to look at it. The yen is collapsing basically. So New Zealand dollar yen, I've had one go at it from 150 ADR. If it makes it to 200 ADR, I'll be interested in a second bite of the cherry on that. So looking at this one, where we are now, this level, which was our previous support resistance zone. Yeah, so it was this area here to there was our previous zone, which we tested, and then we got in short here. 225 is back up there. There's nothing to stop this. As I say, we've broken this level now. There's nothing really until you get up to here, up to this high, which is about 215, 210 ADR. So if we get up above 200 ADR, I shall be short on this. We're absolutely exhausted. This thing's coming down. I want to be short on that. I will scalp it, basically. Same as I did before. Fairly decent risk on it. But I would probably use a slightly wider stop than I did previously. Okay, so we've now got market structure shift on the NASDAQ. So we put in a higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low. So if we break this level, we've got a fall back down to retest support. Keep an eye on that New Zealand dollar yen, or any of these yens that you fancy. But New Zealand obviously is the most extended at the moment. But you've got the pound yen, you've got the euro yen, Swiss yen, and Aussie yen, all massively extended. All good opportunities this afternoon. Oof, just missed me, look. I just want to watch the NASDAQ while I'm potentially shorting this Dow. Sorry, watch the Dow while I'm potentially shorting the NASDAQ. So again, divergence here. So we've got selling pressure on the NASDAQ, buying pressure on the Dow. Typically one will give up the ghost and flush with the other. So hopefully the NASDAQ's in charge now. We've had the Dow being in charge so far this morning or this afternoon. But buyers are still adding in here. Look. It's interesting. You see how many propulsion gaps you've got on the Dow, look. When you scroll out, how many propulsion gaps you've got on the Dow and how many you've got on the NASDAQ, look. There's nothing here on the NASDAQ. It's been chopped all the way up. Whereas the Dow, you've got propulsion gap, propulsion gap, propulsion gap. The moves are so much smoother, faster and harder on the Dow at the moment, up and down. It's kind of the vehicle of choice at the minute, isn't it? So EuroCAD is the only thing extended on RSI that is not yen based. We looked at this morning EuroCAD on the 4 hour. And that started to play out. So if you took that one this morning on the M5 reversal alert, you're in from here. In fact, you depending when you looked, you would have actually been in there. That would have been the first reversal alert. Then it got invalidated. So that would have been your entry, second entry. Okay, Dow's coming down. So got a flag going in on the Dow at the moment. So that level there on the Dow will be our last stand, really. Seems to be holding at the minute, though. Still got plenty of room up to ADR. Look, still a long way potentially to go on this, if it's going to continue. S&P potential reversal. Yeah, S&P will be coming down with the Nasdaq. See, look, the S&P. This is again interesting. S&P looks much more like the Dow. That's unusual because usually the Nasdaq looks like the Dow, the S&P, doesn't it? Not the Dow is always the one that looks a little bit different. The S&P always looks the same as the Nasdaq, but today, no. It's shifted allegiance over to the Dow, isn't it? But need a reversal on it there, so I'm going to leave that pending in for a second just to see if this high holds. But so 12 or 11 low. Okay, so I'm just watching what reaction we get at these highs. If we get trampled here for the third time, I'm probably just going to jump straight in short. In fact, what I'll do is probably put a pending under here. We've got 2 minutes left on this candle yet. So sellers still in control on the Dow. S&P can't make new highs. Nasdaq's trying as well. So everything's starting to stall out at the highs. Looking bearish. I'm just going to put a slightly wider stop on this. I'm never chopping another vegetable. Too much PTSD. What? Chopping another vegetable? This is chop. Yeah. Chopping onions gives you PTSD. Just breaking out the highs. Nasdaq new high of the day. Okay, so let's see if we hold. Yeah, we're gone. Cancelling that pending. Okay, so new high of the day. Going long one on the Dow. Next stop, ADR. Crikey, missed it. Okay, buying again in the Dow, missed it. I was trying to get my buy order on, I missed it. Went too quick. So this is the next resistance on the Dow. Whoops, wrong one. Which is basically above ADR. That's the next area that we're going to find sellers. We are running right into all this balance at the moment. So we sat in this area for quite some time. So this is an area of balance where the market was quite happy to conduct business. So if we are going to try and make a new high of the week, well, obviously beat last week's high, that's where we're aiming for. If last week's high is going to hold as the current market high, then this is potentially exactly where I would expect to see a pullback start. So we're either going to run for the highs or it's going to pull back from here. But a fairly convincing move from the Nasdaq. Repositioning myself. All out of whack. Nasdaq's pushing again. S&P new highs. So S&P's got quite a way to go before we start finding any resistance on that. 125 ADR, nothing really to get in the way until we get there. Broken through that propulsion. Nasdaq, it's got a pretty clear run all the way up to ADR as well. So everything's got potential to go long today. We'll see if there's enough buyers left in the market to do it. Dow is the closest to reaching exhaustion so far. So let's see if we can get a bit more of a movement on this one. I've only got 0.5% risk on this, so it's not a particularly big trade. Let's just quickly see how that New Zealand dollar yen is going. So we're not quite up at 200 ADR yet. Not far off. So if we got 225 on this, I would be in that like a shot. And I would probably get in that with a fairly decent amount of risk. So looking at this one, obviously this hourly level on New Zealand dollar yen, that high there is what we looked at taking a short in this area, didn't we? Back here a few weeks ago, shorted it out of here. I got out down here and obviously it moved further. But we've basically today undone the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, pretty much 9 days. So we've undone pretty much 2 weeks worth of movement in one day. Yeah. So massive extension on the RSI. Likely to get a very decent profit take move. I would suspect, another ADR back down again. Even if we are going to continue like this, we should get a very decent drop on this because there's going to be a lot of people looking to take profit. As soon as this thing starts to drop, everyone's going to see their P&Ls dropping. They're going to jump ship as well. They're all going to become sellers and it's going to exponentiate that move down. So if this can continue and get up to 225 ADR, I would be very comfortable taking a 1% risk on this with a 35-point stop on it above that high, assuming that they're not going to do 250 ADR, and then just hold that overnight if necessary for an ADR move to the downside. So that would be somewhere around about 3% move, 3% gain. So I'd love it to do it if it can continue to push and just keep going up to 225 ADR. I'd see what the market looks like there, but either wait for a reverse alert on M5, depending how tight it is, or if it's like green candle, green candle, green candle all the way up and the reverse alert is still sitting there, take the next bearish candle, bearish engulfing, shooting star, 3-bar reversal, anything that looks bearish up at that area, take that short. Just get on the profit take move. This is all ahead of CPI, so they're scaling into this ahead of CPI. Or rather, they're scaling out of their yen ahead of CPI, which again tells me there's potential for the US dollar to push. They're pulling money out of the yen ahead of the US dollar move. There's only one place you put it when you take it out of the yen. It's either the Swissy or the US, and the US has got the moves tomorrow. So I think there's a good chance of getting a good strong move on that tomorrow at some point. So I'm going to be watching that New Zealand dollar yen for a short. I'm going to monitor it from 200 ADR. That's a lot. That's a big move, 200 ADR. We don't often see, 200 ADRs don't get hit that often when there's no news. So that's a big move. I'd be happy to jump on that from there on any bearish price action or reversal alert on M5. I'm going to be watching the pound US dollar as well. We're almost up to ADR on that. Again, this is something I'm interested in shorting ahead of tomorrow. We've just taken yesterday's high. Yep, so yesterday's high is gone. We're at ADR. Potential resistance there in the form of a propulsion gap. So this is the big propulsion gap that we tested of the unemployment figures. So again, nice looking potential short opportunity there. Pounds, forget the yen. Pounds pretty strong across the board today. So interested in that as a short as well. Aussie dollar, US dollar has also taken out yesterday's high. Then we got a nice little bearish move there. So watch this candle on M15. If this candle closes bearish, that's a 3-bar reversal. Push, pause, pull. We've got the reverse alert on M5, which is retesting at the moment. So potentially we're looking at that. So good looking opportunity, potentially short there as well on the Aussie US. Yesterday's high sweep. But keeping my eyes peeled on this one. Be more, you are? Cool. I'm going to go as well. So basically, I'm just going to sit this Dow trade out. It seems to be stalling a little bit, but I'm looking for a push up into ADR. Yeah. So if I can get a move up on this Dow, another bull candle, I'll put break even average on it, and I'll just stop to break even. It'll either get there or it won't. That gives me, kind of what, 0.75% or something. So that gets me back down to about a $1,400 loss, which isn't, it's only 1.4%. It's not the end of the world. So if I can get that move today, that's all I'm going to trade on the Dow. And then I'm going to switch my focus over to this New Zealand dollar yen and the pound US dollar and look for short entries on that. Pound US dollar will be a position trade. So I will get in as normal with this on a reversal alert. New Zealand dollar yen will be a scalp. So I'll be looking to get in this with about, I'll see what price action is. But I mean, ideally you want your stop up here. Ideally, but that might be too far. depending on where it starts to reverse from. If it starts to reverse from 200 ADR, I will probably go with something like a 30-point stop, 30 pip stop, because we've got a good ADR. We've got a 70 pip move to the downside. So 1% risk on that gives me a 2% gain. That would give me back to break even today, basically. So I'll be happy with a break even after this annoying NASDAQ today. Story of our lives, isn't it? Direction right, execution wrong by literally 0.9 of a pip today. The difference between me making 3 to 5K today and losing 2K was 0.9 of a pip. But them's the breaks. You got to take them, unfortunately. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, 7:50. We'll have a look at the DAX. News-wise overnight, don't need to worry about anything overnight tonight. You got inflation expectations for the New Zealand dollar. It's not really news. So nothing particularly going to happen off of that. Not usually anyway, but you never know. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, you've got the claimant count. So if you're on any pound pairs, be aware of that. We will probably get some movement off of that tomorrow morning. It's a little bit like the unemployment figures. I'm done. Need to inform Mrs. that Valentine's Day is on hold tomorrow. Good luck, Brian. So yeah, we'll get some movement off the pound tomorrow. I'm not expecting that to be bullish. If it is bullish, fine. I'd still get in short. That's what we're waiting for tomorrow, CPI. So what I might do tomorrow is bring the live room forward, but I will see. I'm hoping my arm's going to get better. I'm not meant to be here tomorrow. I'm meant to be going off with the kids tomorrow, but my arm is still absolutely killing me, this trapped nerve I've got. I can't drive at the moment, so the wife can drive, but I don't really want to sit in a car being bumped around for an hour and a half, which is how long it's going to be. So I'm probably not going to do that tomorrow. So I might take a day off towards the end of this week, but I'll play it by ear this week and see. But yeah, so tomorrow, if I'm going to be here, which I probably will, I might bring the live room forward and see if we can trade CPI, because I might try and do a news trade tomorrow after that, try and get this account over the line, because it's driving me slowly insane. But anyway. All right, so good luck this afternoon if you're going to carry on trading. This Dow looks like it's starting to run out of steam. I'm just going to reduce my risk on this. Just behind this propulsion gap. Just reducing it a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a continuation push on this, but I'm just going to reduce risk. If I can get a break above there, I'm going to put a break-even stop on it anyway. So it's either going to be a break-even or it's going to be 0.75% gain. I'm not going to go for any more. Once we've hit ADR, it's up to you then if you want to try and fade it. From there, there's high probability of a fade, isn't there? This hasn't had a breather all day. If you stick this on over here, whoops, and look at the RSI, you'll find this is very extended. Yeah, we're extended and embedded. This is ready for a pullback. It's very difficult to pick a propulsion move on this, to be honest. That is what I would say is a propulsion move today, that long that I took. So could just do that this afternoon. We'll see. But move's kind of over today, isn't it? Feel better. I will do, hopefully. Yes. Fingers crossed. I'm on enough drugs. Right. Okay, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, 7:50, trading the DAX. And hopefully I can milk some money out of that tomorrow morning. Have a good afternoon. I'll be in the Telegram group if you need me. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow.